Well, good morning, lovely ladies and gentlemen. Steve Collins coming to you from beautiful Dallas, Texas, the second most powerful, passionate, and purposeful coach and speaker in the world. Hope you guys are having a great Sunday morning. I want to talk to you a little bit about something. The statement in this video represents a statement that was made by a young man in this hotel last night. So some of you saw the Facebook Live video that was created right. The head coach at Ziegler International, myself, about marriage. So we had been out to dinner, we had talked about a lot of things, and we had put some amazing plans together, and came back and just decided to keep the conversation going. Now, let me tell you how the day began. The day began with an icebreaker with several Ziegler Legacy certified trainers in a room, and the icebreaker was talking about something unique to yourself, something unique that maybe nobody else had done. You know, like somebody talked about at their table they had been skydiving. Somebody at another table talked about they had danced for the Queen of England at one time. And so it was an icebreaker. And, you know, it's all this cool, exciting stuff, but I just had a really strong sense. I bet nobody in this room has ever been committed to the state hospital for being a drug addict, a dead and dying drug addict. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and just share that. So in a room full of many people that I now know well, that I did not know very well before, when it was our turn to speak, I shared that quick blip the team leader did, that we chose to be the spokesperson, you know. And Steve here was committed to the loony bin, committed to the state hospital as a dead and dying drug addict. And so, you know, what was interesting about that is that birthed a conversation that we had, which is this: everybody has a story. Everybody has a story. And many times the things that you may be most embarrassed about or struggle with or kind of want to keep hidden because they reveal a life of decisions and consequences before you kind of got smart or grew up. And it can embarrass a lot of people. And it can be something that they feel, you know, just not super proud of. Well, the interesting thing about a life in Christ is that the things that were designed and a part of bringing you down in the past have now been redeemed and become amazing tools for people you may run into. So that was just one moment. Now, in the middle of that conversation, you know, we began to speak, and I had a lady at my table that quoted something that I said, made a neat little meme that I'll post today. And it said this, she said what I said, you know, what is the most powerful part of your story? What's the most important part of your story? Because we all have a story of how we've overcome certain things. What's the most important part of your story? And I said the most important part of your story is the part that's needed by the person who's sitting in front of you. Simply meaning that those stories can bring other people hope. So let me tell you how the crescendo of the evening went. Today we're getting ready to go and have a service at Prestonwood Baptist Church where Zig Ziglar taught Sunday school for I believe over 30 years, and so we're going to join everybody and have a service there this morning. But I want to tell you what I think Mr. Ziglar would be most proud of and most excited about, and that I know a group of us are unbelievably thrilled to experience. And it was this. Last night after we had done the live video on marriages, Mr. Wright's wife, the actual Mrs. Wright. He found Mrs. Wright. Isn't that cool? Kanya was sitting at the table and she said, yes, I'm actually here with Steve Collins right now. Why? And, you know, caught my attention. And she goes, okay. She goes, so one of our ZLCers just got on the elevator, and a young man got on the elevator with her, and they began a conversation, and he began talking about how he didn't want to live. He didn't want to live. He wanted to die. He was going through a very, very difficult time in his life. He's a drug addict. And she said, is Steve Collins anywhere around there? Because she didn't have my telephone number. Maybe he can come and speak to this young man. So, heck yeah. We get together, all of us. We go upstairs. There's maybe, I think there was 8 people in the room, and he was willing to have a conversation. And by the grace of God, I asked him a few questions, and as I began to share parts of my story when I went through that season, he was finishing my sentences, saying, that's exactly how I felt. That's exactly what I'm thinking. That's exactly what I'm feeling right now. And the night ended with this young man giving his life to Christ. When you don't share your story, you rob people of the potential blessing that is available to them because of your fear of what others may think or what others may feel. But friend, your story is powerful. It is ridiculously powerful. Your story is so powerful, you never know what's going to happen. Let me tell you something. This is a team sport. I mean, everybody in that room was silently praying. Everybody in that room was silently smiling like this, but going, come on, God, have your way with this young man. And we had an opportunity to pray for this young man. And he entered a new arena last night. We had a guy, Doug, who said, when he came in here tonight, he said he wanted to end his life. And guess what? He really did end his life. He ended his old life tonight and was given a new life and a new opportunity to walk this life of faith. And I want to share this with you. Your story, the things that you may think that you can't share with somebody, you never know if that's going to be the very roadmap that's going to create an opportunity for the person sitting across from you. You never know. You don't know what you have inside of you that fear will tell you to keep hidden could actually be a key to unlock a prison for somebody else who's going through that. So, there's some powerful stuff in one of the books in the Bible, Revelation, that says we overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony. Your testimony, your story, how God brought you through, what he did with you and what he continues to do with you, is a powerful narrative that can literally transform the life of another human being. And here's what I know that I took away from that experience last night that I told everybody in that room. I said, guys, think about this. Think about this. We don't know that's not the next Billy Graham. I mean, who does God put on an elevator surrounded by people who are jacked up, fully whacked out, Ziegler-fied with the message of hope to this nation and world, and surrounds this kid with 8 powerhouses who are lit up, fired up, ready to go, equipped, instant, in and out of season, ready to bring the fire, man. This kid got surrounded by 8 of us. This kid, there's big stuff going on with this kid. All I know is this kid's destiny and his purpose is ridiculous, to be surrounded by that many people who are equipped and ready with hearts to see things change. By the way, that's the very goal of everything that Ziegler stands for, is no matter how successful, no matter how wonderful, no matter how good relationships are, if somebody doesn't have that privilege and the opportunity to have that relationship with the one who created him, it's kind of like life is like having a Charms blow pop with the wrapper on it. There's a little form there and no flavor, man. Not the real flavor. Not the good stuff, not the sweetness. That only comes when he's the primary source of that. So what is the most important part of your story? I'm going to say the most important part of your story is the part that's needed by the person sitting directly across from you. I charge you not to be afraid or fearful of sharing your story. Your story may be the key that unlocks the prison for somebody else who is stuck and doesn't have any other way out. And then you get the pleasure and the joy of knowing that dark season you went through was actually creating opportunity for 1, 10, 100, maybe thousands and even millions of other people. Don't be afraid to share your story, ladies and gentlemen. You never know whose life it might change. Have a great Sunday.